I think it's going to die, no matter what I do. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I am trying to repot my Cissus Discolour as it's really not looking that great. Most people on Reddit have suggested that it's a mineral deficiency and it needs to be fertilised, but it's been fertilised and this pot is rather big and heavy. So today I'm going to repot it in my garden. You couldn't really hear my voice or audio that well, so I'm going to have to do a voiceover today. So here you see me really badly struggling trying to get these stakes out the pot because it is staked up and the stakes go all the way down to the bottom of the pot, and because it's all intertwined with the roots, I'm really struggling here to get it out. So I'm squeezing the pot, trying to, figure out how I'm going to do this, and the look on my face, I'm struggling a lot. Yep, and the scratch of the head of confusion. And off I go to get a shovel. And I'm back with said shovel. Just foreshadowing here, the shovel is no help. I tried to get the soil out with the shovel and it really didn't do much. So I kind of had to go for it with my hands. And here I'm trying to pull the stakes out of the soil just so I can lay them down flat, but this puts so much strain on the actual stems. I still found it really hard to get the roots out because they were then being tugged out of the pot by me trying to help myself by not helping myself. And so here you see me kind of struggling with one hand and not knowing what to do. And yeah, just pulling everything out with my hands at this point because I can see the roots and I can tell they're not that big. So I'm sort of getting a bit annoyed at myself. Well, getting annoyed in general because the pot is so big and the soil, as I'm pulling it out, I could tell the soil is so wet. Like, it had been watered 2 weeks prior and the soil was still so damp and it's not nice. Like, the feel, it was going under my fingernails and it wasn't a nice experience. So I kind of had to enlist the help of Mum here. And here I am getting annoyed and telling her about the soil and showing her how many leaves have come off and the fact that the leaves look bad, and you can just see the annoyance on my face. Oh dear. So here's Mum holding the stakes for me while I physically have to shake the soil out because it was so thick and it started just sliding out in one big clump of disgusting soil. So the mud is going sliding out, and Mum suggested just tipping it out on the floor, but I didn't want to tip out a load of mud and just have a pile of mud sat all over the garden. But here you can see me pulling all of the mud apart from the roots, and it was so heavy. Like, you could tell it was pulling strain on the roots, and I had to pat it all out and try and remove the soil as best as I could from this. I'm back with my soil and my little trowel. I've got to give it a mix up because this is the last of my soil, so I've mixed all of my components that I mentioned in a previous video. I've mixed them all into here. I'll link the video in the cards of me repotting my ficus so you can see what soil mixture I use. So here I am, now I'm rinsing down all of the roots because they had clumps of this disgusting soil on it, and I fully had to just rinse it and rinse it and rinse it. And this is where I saw that the roots were so small. So as you can see, the roots are not even as big as my palm, and there's 3 plants in this pot and the roots are so small in this massive, I'd say 10-inch pot, And look at all that soil that's come out, oh my lord. And this is the size difference between the pot I was using and the pot I'm about to use. How crazy is that? Look at it inside it, oh my lord. Okay, now I'm just gonna pop the plant into the pot, which was quite hard because obviously it's quite top heavy because of the stakes. So trying to arrange the stakes in the pot so that this tiny little pot would hold the stakes up, which it didn't work crazy amounts because right now as I look at it, it's leaning to one side. But I'm thinking of putting it as a hanging plant rather than it trailing anyway, because it's losing so many leaves. It's so sparse at the bottom. It could do with the bottom parts being spiraled round the bottom of the container to hold its roots down a bit better, and then it all coming over, and then I could give it a better spot in the window so it could get that humidity and that wind when I open the window and the sunlight that it needs to be able to become a nice full plant again. So I'm probably going to do that some point this week, which I'll put that in at the end of the video. But yeah, so hopefully here I am putting some soil in. I started doing it so nicely and then just haphazardly shoving it in because I got fed up. Now I'm just quickly spritzing the soil with the hose pipe to get the soil to sit compact, and giving my hands a bit of a wash. And then I'm going to spray down the leaves to give it a bit more humidity, which probably isn't going to help it that much. But now as I've got it inside, I have watered it with my fertilizer too, so that it can have a bit more of a fighting chance. So hopefully we might have a healthier looking plant, because this was not a good plant. Like, the amount it's been through, when I first bought it, it was gorgeous, and there was a massive storm, so I tried to put it in my car and it was just blowing everywhere. I lost a fair few leaves then, and I think a few stems snapped too, and I got it home, found out it had scale. Well, Mum thought it had scale, but some people have thought on the internet that it was just mineral deposits, so it might have just lost loads of leaves because we were treating it so much for something it didn't have. So it's been through a hell of a battle, so I'm hoping now it might be a bit better. So that's been my video on trying to save my Cissus, which doesn't have that many leaves left, but we have hope. So hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button. I'm really sweaty from lifting that around everywhere. So have a nice weekend. Bye. So it's been about a week since I've repotted it into a smaller pot, and this is what my plant is looking like now. Bare as anything. There are no leaves. I've attempted to do some air layering here to get some roots going, so I can try and chop it up, but it's gone through so much shock that it fully has no leaves whatsoever. So let's pray for this plant.